What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Doing a little live stream because I don't have any memory on my phone to make a video. Starting off with a little Steam Deck update on the Windows side of things. I used to run Windows 11 via micro SD card for a while, and it worked pretty well up until one time Steam handheld companion over here just kind of stopped working after a while. I reinstalled it many times, tried older versions, just couldn't get it to work. Unfortunately, that was really the only way I could successfully get the Steam Deck controls to work with any, Windows game like Fortnite or anything else. I know some people leave Steam running in the background or, load it as a non-Steam game to utilize the full Steam overlay controls and stuff like that. But as far as I can tell, you cannot do that with Fortnite. It just, even if you open the Epic Games browser launcher through Steam, add that as a, non-Steam game, it just crashes on me, even on this current setup. And it just, I can't get it to work. So handheld companion, there's like another tool that is like comparable, but I don't know. I had a lot of trouble with that and couldn't get it to work. So handheld companion is really the only one I've found with any success for that. And luckily, by the time I, found the solution, which I'll get more into in just a moment, it has had several updates. It was actually updated, I think, like a week ago. So that's all good. Now, before I got to this stage, I, still didn't want to sacrifice the awesome Steam OS that's already on there. I've done that before. I've wiped the OS off and I put Windows on here instead, and that's fine. But you're missing out on too much to be able to give that up. So that's why I did it on the micro SD card. Okay, so the micro SD card wasn't working anymore, and I didn't want to sacrifice the Steam OS. So I was looking back into the dual boot method, which is when you partition the internal hard drive and have SteamOS on one half and Windows on the other half. Okay, cool. And there's been multiple YouTube tutorials on how to do that. Most of them are a couple of years old. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's possible anymore right now, at least with this current version of SteamOS. I've tried many times and it just gives me errors. The partition slider doesn't work when, you go into the recovery mode or, the boot recovery. I've got it, this is the Windows boot on flash drive, but I also got another flash drive with the SteamOS on there. So that's how you would do it. You would boot in there and adjust the gigabytes accordingly. So the other options would be for me to put it on a flash drive, maybe like a Type-C one, and stick it in there, boot Windows off of there, and people could do that. But I figured that if I'm going to do that, I might as well go all out and put it on an SSD. And I've seen people do that, put an external SSD on there. But then you can't charge it anymore, and this is a lot more taxing on the battery than SteamOS. So you want to get a lot of gameplay, and chances are it would shut down mid-game, and you would be kind of screwed. I've seen people put adapters, split the Type-C port, but then that's going to suffer performance on the hard drive side. So I ended up finding this enclosure. It's currently, held on by a command strip, which is a little jank, but honestly, it's working great. If you want a closer look, this is the brand right here, spelled OSETUB. Got it on the eBays for about 30 bucks. I got the internal stick of terabyte for about 30 bucks too. If you want to know the exact model, I can let you know in the comments, but it was literally the cheapest 1 terabyte that was compatible with this stick, and I confirmed that with ChatGPT before purchasing it. So altogether it was like, I don't know, like 90 something with tax, and it did work out. It did turn out great. However, there's a couple caveats. When I was running Windows off the micro SD card, the fans would get extremely loud, the screen would get very, very hot, and the power supply would get extremely hot too. It's plugged in over there, I can't grab it. So those are very concerning things and borderline dangerous. and I didn't really love that, and I thought I would probably shorten the life expectancy of the Steam Deck substantially. So now that it's on this SSD enclosure, this does get extremely hot. It's not, okay, yeah, it's pretty darn hot right now. Not to the point where I'm burning myself, thankfully. It doesn't really get there, but it does get kind of close. So while that is a concern, it's not as concerning as the screen getting really hot and the power supply getting really hot, which that doesn't happen with this setup, thankfully. So at least it's contained just in this. And it's not even making direct contact with the unit. I mean, it's on command strip, and then obviously the case kind of protects it a little bit too. So it's got a couple extra layers of protection. The other thing that I like about this, in addition to having the Type-C pass-through for power, it has another Type-C in there for, you know, USB sticks, maybe a, you know, Type-C other peripheral of sorts, you know, whatever you want. Maybe a microphone or what have you. It's got two Type-A ports, which are excellent. I wanted to have at least two for like mouse and keyboard, stuff like that. And then I had to have a HDMI out for a docking experience. This is kind of a bare minimum and features that I wanted to have in a dock, and the biggest form factor that I really wanted to. They make bigger ones with a lot more ports, like VGA ports and Ethernet ports if you want a wired connection on this thing. I mean, that's cool. Micro SD card readers, full size SD card readers, and I mean you can really pimp this thing out. I mean, it's not designed to be strapped on the back of a Steam Deck. It's more or less for current PCs, laptops especially, that, you know, don't have all of these features anymore for whatever reason. But I'm very happy with this one, and I'm fairly happy with the way it looks on here. It's not terribly bad looking. And I'm pretty happy with the performance on Fortnite. I only tested it out briefly last night. The graphics aren't wonderful, but you know, there's a lot of tweaks I can make. That's the only game I've really tried so far. But yeah, no, I've been happy with that. I just realized I'm streaming, so I can't really pause right now. So I apologize if this is kind of uncut and rambly. But I think that's about all I have to say. I would recommend this method if you do want to play Windows games and you can't do it on the SteamOS. I was having pretty good luck with the Legendary loader. Is that what it's called? Where you can load into other Epic games and, you know, ones that aren't multiplayer that utilize the anti-cheat. Heroic Launcher, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one. That one works great for other stuff too on the SteamOS, which is great. And also, the other reason I wanted Windows was for standalone emulators like Zinnia Manager, where you can get Zinnia on the Steam OS, but it just doesn't seem to work as well. I played Gears of War 1 and 2 through the Zinnia, different versions of Zinnia Canary on here, and that worked really well. Not perfect, but really well, totally playable. And just moving forward with more emulation and more PC games and just PC, you know, experience in general, I wanted to have more of more of an experience than what I had on the micro SD card. So that's why I'm so adamant about having this too. And plus, I don't have any other PC that I can game onto. This is it. This is still my gateway drug into all of that. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's where we're kind of at here. Handheld companion has been a godsend, helping me with the you know, playing Fortnite on there. So we're good. I'm not gonna try. I guess I could jump into a game. I don't know how long this stream is really gonna be. Kind of give you a taste of how it operates. Now, Handheld Companion is not currently running right now, so I'm going to need to click on that. Now, if you guys are familiar with this program more than I am, let me know, because sometimes, usually when I enter Handheld Companion, it'll disable the trackpad controls, which is fine. I don't need that in-game, but it's kind of a pain in the butt when I go back to the desktop and need to do stuff. Now, there was one time kind of towards the end, and I think I captured it in video, where everything was working. The program was on, and I could have in-game controls working as well as the touchscreen, or I'm sorry, the trackpads were working on the desktop and stuff. So if you guys know how to set that up properly, let me know. I'd love to have, all the capabilities all at once. That is not good. We don't like that. I was getting that crapped out message on my laptop for a bit. So I don't know what just happened there. I don't think it was an overheating issue, but maybe it was. The power supply is not hot at the moment. The SSD is quite warm, but it is booting back into Windows, which is a good sign. Very interesting. Yeah, I almost wish keep the USB plugged in. Only remove it after your PC has shut down completely. Otherwise, your Windows to go workplace might crash. Okay, well, I don't think it popped out of there. Another little thing I like that this isn't a removable cord, like it's built in there, so you don't have to worry about a disconnect there. If it's damaged cord, you're kind of screwed, but I'd rather just have it fixed in there. There's also a little button right here. I don't really know what it does. Maybe it resets something like a fuse or something. But you don't need it to turn it on or anything. Okay, that was weird. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. But let's see. Okay, HC isn't working. Quickly drop a click on that, and then Fortnite. Okay. Oh, Steam controller connected. That's good. Yeah, I almost wish I could have like a little heat sink or something on the outside of this, or you've seen those external fans, external coolers that you put on your phone and stuff. I've seen reviews and most people don't like them. They don't really do what they need to do on devices like this. Maybe for phones, like gaming phones and stuff, but yeah, from what I've seen, it probably wouldn't help in a situation like this. At least I'm not resorting to putting it on frozen bags of fruits and vegetables. Yet, anyways. Happy 4th of July to everybody in the US if you're watching this right now. Hope everybody had a happy Independence Day with maybe saw some fireworks, did a little barbecuing. I went out of town with my girlfriend and saw a couple friends I hadn't seen in a long time. Got lunch, um, went to Goodwill, got dinner. Had a good time. Okay, so also I will say just boot up time. Like booting up Windows on the micro SD card was pretty horrendous, especially towards the end of my experience with it. It would just take forever, and it was a process logging into, that HC app and then Fortnite, and yeah, it is much better. It's not quite as fast as it probably could be if it was natively installed internally on the SSD. But it is much better, much better. Okay, so this is kind of a quick little input test for you here. The controls are obviously working now. If I didn't have handheld companion on, I would be getting a mouse cursor over here, maybe some random button interface interactions, but nothing would be working properly in the menu. So let's just, in the spirit of the holiday, let's just find something a little more patriotic. Oh, that's weird. Now, that's another thing here. When you hold the Steam button down, I can activate different menus, either with Windows or Steam or the handheld companion, and sometimes they overlap, so that's kind of I'm still working that out. And then this button over here, excuse me, isn't doing anything. I would love to have the actual SteamOS controls over here where it spits out the little side menu. You can adjust brightness and see the FPSs and stuff. And if over here you can access, I don't know, other Steam stuff. But that's not currently how it's working. And I think, let's see, is my keyboard even working right now? Doesn't look like it. So I do use a Bluetooth keyboard app on my phone. Um, if you're interested in that, I can drop that in the comments. But that is a lifesaver when I am in a situation like this where I kind of need a keyboard and the on-screen one isn't working, and I can't hold down Steam, the Steam button and X. If Steam was running in the background, that would probably work, but that is not the case right now. Okay, but here's the guy I wanted. Okay, he's ready to go. As you can see, the graphics are not looking wonderful right now, but I have not changed anything. It popped up a little message at the beginning saying, "Hey, do you want the suggested settings for this thing?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever. Why not?" I don't know if that really is the best default settings. We can take a look at that here in a second before I actually jump into a match. See what it is actually suggesting. Okay. I kind of want to buy Captain America. Man, every year I think about it. Let's see if of course he's still going to be in the shop. Let's see. Cuddle Team. I just can't pull the trigger on Cuddle Team or Firework Team Leader. She's just kind of not that great. Anyways, Captain America. Yep, there he is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Not right now, though. Anywho, you guys wanted to see the settings. Oops, wrong button. So, oops. Okay, so we're in windowed. It always does that. Okay, the resolution is that. VSync is off. It's got 60 FPS limit. It's got a lower rendering mode, 100% brightness. I'm going down to the deeper stuff. 3D is on. View distance is near. That's pretty shitty. Textures are low. That's pretty shitty. Everything's set to low, so it's probably just kind of playing it safe. Now I remember playing everything like pretty high at one point, and now on the micro SD card, and it was working fairly well. I mean, it was having a hell of a time. It was working for it, but it was doing it. So I think I'm gonna crank as much stuff as I can up, just for science. And the FPS is so small I can't even see it, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't need that. Let's see. I wonder if I should do a frame limit or not. You know what? I think we're gonna go unlimited. VSync, let's see. I don't know. Should I do this? Eliminate screen tearing, but I always rendering. Higher frame rate, but you control the horizontal screen tearing. I don't know. I think we're gonna go for it. And then this, I think, requires a restart. I don't know. Okay, I think that's pretty much as high as we can go right now. Let's go back. It still looks kind of washed out. You really can't, I don't know if you can see very well. But let's just jump into a quick blitz. I know there's an article floating around today saying they might make blitz a permanent mode, which I'd be all for it. I really like it. I mean, I'm pretty bad at Fortnite, and having, jumping into a casual quick match is kind of better than, a long one, and then you place a lot lower. And at the beginning I was doing really well, and now I do really shitty. But I was playing with my friend last night, and we were doing a lot better. And it just depends on how many bots are in your lobby, honestly. And I don't know what this is all about. It looks like I got drift, but I don't think I actually do. So I think I might just have to go into the dead zone and adjust this. I hope. I hope that is. Otherwise, I might need to do a joystick replacement. And, well, let me just say, I'm going to be digging into the internals of this machine here probably sooner than later. And I'll tell you why after we get a little gameplay in. Not because I'm having any internal problems, but, well, you'll see. Okay. Also, this cord. Oh, shit. I'm going to die right here, right now, aren't I? Fuck. You can map buttons to the back with handheld companion, but I don't have that set up right now. Oh my god. I didn't know who lived and who died there for a second because of lag. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can fix this control a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Dead zone's at 5%. Maybe let's just go. Maybe try 10. I don't know what that sound is. I don't like it. Okay, we're not moving by ourselves, so that's good. I'll have to look into that more. Hopefully, I pray to God it's not drift. But if I'm gonna open this thing up, I might as well throw in sticks. This is kind of annoying having my phone right above the screen while I'm recording it, but it's okay. Really not a big fan of most of those masks. Did not mean to do that. But yeah, if they do decide to make Blitz permanent, it'd be. I mean, at least they kind of keep it fresh, and they could just keep the same things recycling every week, or I don't know. Oh shit. Not paying attention. If you can hear the fans, it's pretty quiet, honestly, compared to how it was. Let me put it to my ear. Just kidding. It's actually kind of loud, but normal loud. The SSD is very hot. The screen is not. And the power supply, let me find it real fast and touch it. It is not bad. It's warm. It's about the same as the screen, which is fine. I feel great about being out here. Shit. Well, shoot. At least I got lucky number 7. And only 2 kills. Okay. But yeah, at least that kind of gives you an idea. I don't think it was really chugging any more than usual with most of the graphics at max. And it wasn't terribly ugly. It was definitely a better experience than playing on mobile or Switch. Obviously not as good as playing on, Xbox or PS4. So yeah, I've still been using the Skull and Co. grip, the Savage Raven, whatever. And I don't know. I still love this. I kind of want to give the Satisfy one another shot, but just being able to set it down like that on a hard surface. That's why this book is there. Just having it on the ottoman does not work, unfortunately. Just a little too soft. But having that is just a, I use it so much because I try not to block any airflow. Even though this is kind of flush, the hard drive, and it does sit flat, and I mean I love that. It couldn't be more perfect that way. And I don't know. I thought about putting a 90-degree angle adapter on this, but honestly, I don't want to kind of put any strain on the wire. And if I did do that, it would kind of, you know, put strain on it when I lay it down flat. So I don't know. I think it's working fine the way it is. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at on the Windows side of things. Let's see if I can exit out of this. Let's see. Okay, close button. There we go. Cool. All right. So yeah, as I was starting to say, if that is in fact drift, and I need to do a stick replacement, I might as well do it when I'm doing this. And as you can probably tell, it's definitely a shell replacement. I pulled the trigger. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and here it came. It took a little bit longer than usual, but this is from Extreme Rate directly. It's new. It did kind of come kind of squished, so I was a little concerned. It didn't come with any other packaging other than this in a bag, so that was a little bit disheartening, but I don't think anything was damaged at all. I took the shell out and inspected it. This is they have a lot of awesome colors. Of course, this is the LED model, not the the OLED. So I think you have maybe a few more options in terms of colors there, maybe. Don't quote me on that. But there's the shell itself, and there's some extra red buttons, which I probably, won't use at all. I would like to use all the stock buttons, because I really like the black and red color scheme. If you've seen my Switch, you kind of know where I'm going with that. But yeah, it came with some adhesive pads, lots of different screws, screwdrivers, one pry tool, some picks. I guess originally it came with like metal picks, and people were complaining because they were scratching their screen when they were digging it out, and that's terrifying. Breaking their screen, that's like 50, 60 bucks, maybe more. Maybe it's upward of 100 for a replacement screen. I don't know, but they got some other parts in there. Oh, that helps with the heat dissipation, but I don't want to lose anything. But hopefully this weekend I will attempt this and get this shell swapped successfully. I am so terrified, and I love the way my Steam Deck looks already, but I love the color red. It's always been my favorite color, and if I can make it look as good as, half as good as how it looks on my Switch, I will be a happy guy. Because this turned out great. This is also from Extreme Rate. Excuse me, and I love the black red combo. And at the time, this was also terrifying because obviously at the time people were already complaining about stick drift. In the Joy-Cons, and there are a lot of layers in there, a lot of intricacies. I did use the red buttons on here just as contrast. But the D-pad alone edition was a huge upgrade. One of my favorite D-pads of all time is from this third-party Extreme Rate kit. Now I will say the plastic is a little bit lower quality maybe on the Steam Deck or on the Switch version. I was kind of comparing that to people, what they said about the Switch one. I'm sorry, the Steam Deck one. So it's probably about the same. Some people were saying it's just as good quality as the stock, but I don't know if I buy that. There were a couple of spots, I don't know if you can see, where I think I over-tightened the screws and it kind of cracked a little bit. There's one tiny little crack right here you can barely see, but not a big deal. And also the kickstand, that's kind of shitty. I mean, it was shitty to begin with, but they somehow, they made it even shittier. Extreme Rate found a way, to the point where it just wouldn't even close anymore. It wouldn't like latch, so I had to put a little piece of tape inside of there to make it stay in place. Not a big deal, definitely worth it. I almost put the black one on there, back on there as contrast, but I don't know. I think it's cool being able to see through it and see the micro SD card poking through there. Um, and yeah, I love this. And this was 10 times less scary than this is going to be because I didn't actually, take the screen off or do anything other than the back faceplate and swap that out. And obviously the Joy-Cons, those are scary, but it's probably a good project before I tackle this. So pray for me, pray for my Steam Deck. Hopefully I don't kill it or break anything. I've got a 3-day weekend, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. All right, I really should have had Steam OS starting off in the background while I was blabbering. But yeah, it's okay. So I think if I do a restart, it'll probably, sometimes it'll remember your last OS that you're on and it'll boot back to that one. And now I was running into that issues with, I don't know if I mentioned it on this stream. I was trying to do a video earlier, and I was getting this like triple boot error, where I was going into the Steam through the this boot menu mode that I'll show you here in a second, and I had to do it 3 times because it would get stuck on this Steam logo screen. It was a pain in the ass. Okay, I think it's off. So you hold down the volume button, volume down, and then tap the power button, and then in a moment you'll get this screen, which most of you are probably aware. I tried editing the boot order, and maybe that fixed it. I don't know. But SteamOS, here we come. Unfortunately, I can't use this hard drive for anything right now other than Windows, which is fine. Some people say you can partition it like you would an internal drive. I don't know if that's... I don't think that's currently possible either. You run into the same issues that I was running into. Partitioning the internal drive. But as far as I can tell right now, it's still kind of best of both worlds. Sometimes this does take a little bit longer than normal. I think maybe it's adjusting back from Windows. I don't know. Just a theory. But it's not all the time. And it's not like it takes forever. Just feels like it since I'm on camera. Also, one thing I was trying to do earlier was, now that I don't have a micro SD card dedicated for Windows, I'd kind of like to use that one for Steam, since this has only got 500 gigs internally. I had my 500 gig for Windows, so I'd like to repurpose that for Steam. So I was looking at how to do that, transfer the stuff over, and I was like, oh, maybe this is simple. Just copy and paste the files over, drop it on the desktop first, and then carry it over. But no, unfortunately, it does not seem to be the case. It was not giving me, it wasn't letting me do that earlier. So it's going to be a little bit more of a process, or maybe I'll just start over on the micro SD card. We'll see. There's not a lot of problems with that. Up until this point, I was losing everything as far as my game saves and stuff. As far as I can tell, I thought maybe Emulation Station was backing that up, and yeah, it turns out it wasn't. I have since then attached it to OneDrive, and everything's been syncing through that automatically now. So should I lose the current OS? This is taking a lot longer than it should. I don't think this is working, so maybe I'm in that triple boot problem again. Let's see. Okay, let's try that again. Go back down to SteamOS. And I totally lost my train of thought, dang it. But yeah, let me know if you got an easy way to transfer SD card stuff to SD card. Oh, I was talking about the cloud save. Yeah, I got Emulation Station, Emu Deck, sync to OneDrive now, and that should be saving all my emulated saves. And I also have, I mean, I always did. I guess I had my saves backed up in the cloud through the Steam. But some games don't support it, like Alice Madness Returns. Unfortunately, that my save is gone on that, and it just it doesn't support it whatsoever. So that kind of blows. But I know you can download other people's save files if you want, and access stuff that way, if you want to. Okay, this is number 2, so hopefully third time's a charm. This is weird that it's doing it for SteamOS and not Windows. It might not be struggling if I would just unplug the SSD, but for science, I just want to see. And it might just be running slow too. Yeah, lately on Emu Deck, I was playing around with Toy Story. Oh, in conjunction to that, I attached a couple different plugins. The Vibrant deck, which I'll show you if this thing ever boots up, is nice. It really makes the graphics pop. I was playing a game with already super bright, beautiful graphics, bright colors rather, and having that on even up the ante, like substantially more, like almost to the point where it was hurting my eyes. Um, yeah, this I don't really like this. So I'm gonna try booting up without the SSD plugged in. See what that does. But yeah, I recommend the Vibrant plugin. Excuse me. It's not as noticeable on other games, ones that don't have really bright colors. But the demo for this one that I was playing, it had like a girl and some animals passing over to the afterlife. I forget the name of it. It's not out yet, but it was really cute. Yeah, really pretty game. The other game that I was about to talk about was like a retro achievements type thing, which is a community-based achievement um, thing, where they basically create achievements for retro games like PlayStation 1 and Super Nintendo and stuff like that. I think the farthest back they typically go is maybe PS1. Don't quote me on that. Maybe PS2. And not all games are supported. In fact, most of the ROMs that I've tried are not supported. But one that is Toy Story 2, and I guess I'll boot that up real quick. Um, and so that's kind of cool, seeing achievements for old games that don't have achievements. And normally it would be like right here, and it's not. That's weird. Maybe it's the update. Let's see. Yeah, there's Vibrant Deck. That's what I was telling you about. That's the MU achievements. You sign up for it off of the deck, and then you get the plugin to tie it all together, so you can manage all that. The brightness bar is not really. That is a conjunction to the mod where you hold down the Steam button, uh, or no, you hold down the three dots and then you go up and down, and that's awesome because I'm constantly adjusting the brightness. All that plugin is to give you that little box indicator, which matches the volume indicator, which is just kind of a nice little addition. You don't have to have that, but it's nice. So yeah, it's kind of weird that it's not showing me the achievements, but it might just need an update. Let's see. Install update. Okay, while it's doing that, I'll show you how how Buzz is running. This is one of my favorite games of all time as a kid. Probably said this before, but there's my retro achievements. There they are. Now they're popping in. It says 0 out of 50. That's not right. Hmm. But this is looking good, but it's kind of hurting my eyes. Like, I don't know if it's the frames. It's locked to a basically a solid 60, and it is kind of bouncing around with the resolution over here. Not really sure what that's all about. I think it's like an auto configuration. And I do have, this is a weird quick menu. You hold down Steam and then it's back on the D-pad, and that's how you get your duck station controls. So I'll just load my save state. And here we are. So I got my back buttons engaged, which is lovely. So I don't know if this is going to come up on camera. It's not as noticeable in this particular level. The pop-in is what I'm kind of talking about. You can kind of see it there in the back. Um, and it's like just a mild, like kind of strobing effect, and it's not great. And I don't think it was doing that when I was emulating this game on the Vita or the PSP. So maybe it's just a duck station glitch. I don't know. Let me know if you guys are encountering this, because there's a lot of PS1 games that I want to go back and beat, like the old Resident Evils, and I would totally beat this game again. But yeah, right here, like that screen shaking or screen tear, I don't know what it is. It is a little nauseating, not gonna lie. So that's not great. But let's see. Hmm. Well, darn, yeah. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know why it's not showing the achievements. And I was telling my friends, I'm not like a big achievement guy. Hmm. Seems to be upset with me. It's not really updating properly. I'm not a big achievement guy. I mean, I was kind of going after them during the Xbox 360 days. But the only reason I like this is because it kind of breathes life into old games that maybe you've beat a million times and, you know, want to get more life out of them again. So they'll have you beat bosses in certain ways without using maybe the zoom in first person mode or the charge shot. You have to just use basic laser and not take any damage with like that robot in the first game in the attic. But yeah. Um, I did buy AK Axolotl, and Meg finally got to play with me, and we've been really enjoying that. It might still be on sale, like $7-8. Definitely recommend that. Hologram Launcher, I was telling you about that. Um, I did not know that Broforce had a game before it based around Expendables, which is awesome. So I've been playing that. It's free. A little smaller than Broforce, shorter game, I guess, but um, been enjoying that. It's identical to Broforce, basically. Slightly different maps and different characters, but just saw that. I haven't played that yet. Desk Job. And I just got a bunch of like free games and demos on here right now. Not a lot in terms of like my own games or even non-Steam games. Got a few. Still have not been able to get Alias to run on anything. I can't get it to run on this side of things. Can't get it to run in a standalone emulator on the Windows side of things. So yeah, I don't know. It's just slow. She just runs around in slow motion all the time, and I can't get past it. Um, and I don't remember if I was having the same problem in Death by Degrees or not. Um, but some of these games I have physical old discs, and I just want to beat them. Or like a game like Pirates or this Primal game, I've got, but I've never played them much. And Primal, the little bit that I jumped into Primal is actually surprisingly kind of good. I thought it was gonna be total dog water. I lost my save file to Punisher, and that sucks. I do have it on my modded PS2, so I don't know. That game is just so dark and hard to get through. I really don't want to start over on that one. It's a good game, but goddamn, it's rated M/A for a reason. Even though the graphics are old, it's still just very violent and heavy to get through. So yeah, that's kind of what we got. I did make I like beat that game and had a bunch of stuff unlocked, so that sucks that I lost that save. But it's okay. Hopefully everything is backed up properly now. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much it. The screen. I don't remember what that is. What is that? Oh, the square capsules. I don't know. I'd show you this thing if it was like cooperating with the artwork and stuff, but it seems to have other fish to fry, and my voice is getting a little hoarse for talking for 45 minutes. But if you made it this far, I appreciate it. As always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Wish me luck with the deck, the shell swap. Might do that tomorrow or the next day. I don't know, but I'll keep you posted. See you in the next one. Peace.